Welcome to 1700 with Lisa and Jai for your hump day.
Today we have a live interview here in the studio with Zenith Moon, and later on we will be discussing the clip of the week.
Yes, today Carly and Andy are in the studio. I guess my first question for you is, how did you get the name for the band?
That's a really, really good question.
Thank you.
Okay, so first of all, Zenith means the highest point of an astrological body.
Oh.
And a moon is also an astrological body. So it's basically the polar opposite of the noonday sun. And we've always been really infatuated with the mysteriousness of night. You know, do you know that feeling you get when you look up at the stars and you go, oh, what does it all mean?
Yeah.
What am I doing
Yeah,
here?
you feel quite small, like, you know, compared to, like, you just look up, you go, that goes for years and years and years. What am I doing here? I get that.
Exactly, and that sort of plays into, like, our music is lyrically speaking and also musically speaking very introspective and very contemplative. So it's a good way to highlight that.
Very nice.
Beautiful. Okay, so now when it comes to the music, you've got quite a gorgeous sound. I really love the sound of your music. Who writes the music? So who actually comes up with the music and who writes the lyrics, and, you know, who's in charge of what, I guess?
Okay, well, I am the lead singer, so a lot of the time I come up with lyrics and melodies and I'll put them in my phone, and then I'll go back to it and kind of work on it and see if anything's good enough to bring to Andy and Matt, who's the guitarist in our band. So normally what happens is that I'll come up with a tiny bit of something, maybe a chorus, bring it to the guys, and then we slowly flesh it out from there.
Wow.
So we all have our input, which is awesome. It's good. It's not just one person writing,
Yeah.
which I think is what makes us really great. So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I read in an article that a lot of your songs are based on personal experiences, particularly one of the songs, which was released last year, that explored bullying and high school experience. Is it quite difficult, I guess, to bring a personal flair to songwriting, or is it quite therapeutic to be able to write like that?
When I first began, it was really confronting because you're thinking about your life, and it's really hard to even want to write it down because it makes it more real.
Yeah.
But now, since I've been doing it since I've been doing it since I was 10.
Wow.
So it's been 12 years, and it's become a therapeutic thing. So without it, I feel like I'd be a crazy woman. But this settles me down, which is really good.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Now, Carly, just going back to, when you were 10 years old, that shocks me. I know I always, wanted to write a song, but when you're 10, I feel like, for me at least, I just didn't know where to start or how to do anything, or when it came to, producing music. So when you were 10, how did you start off? What did you do? How did you learn? And, how have you become what you are now to, from 10 to here? What's been that sort of journey, and how did you start?
Well, when lessons when I was 6. So I knew very basic chords, and I would just play literally 2 chords back and forth, and I'll be like, la, 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 and I'll record it. It was so just not cool, so uncool. But then I'd write about my problems, Mum made dinner that I really hated and I had to eat it. It was literally that.
Yeah, I love that.
It was very basic, and then it just, as you keep doing it, it just naturally grows, and you mature and you have better ideas, which I'm very thankful for. And it's just, you just need to be okay with starting off really badly and accepting that slowly but surely you'll get there, and it'll start sounding really good, and you come up with really good ideas.
I love that.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I just want to add something.
Yeah.
We have a nickname for Carly in the band. We call her the hook machine.
Oh my gosh.
Everything she sings is a hook.
Oh, really?
Seriously.
Oh my goodness.
The hook machine.
Yeah, the hook machine. That's really cool, actually. I love that. And that's so amazing as well, that for people who, want to start and they don't know, where to start, and, accepting that it's not going to be brilliant when you start out. I think that's something very important. I liked that. How did you guys meet?
I met Andy. Oh, pardon me. I met Andy and Matt at uni.
Okay, so what were you guys studying?
Bachelor of Music, Contemporary Performance.
Right.
So he was a drummer, I was a singer. It was a match made in heaven.
Oh, very cute.
Yes. And that's how we met, but you met Matt.
Well, actually, Matt and I actually grew up in the same area. We're both from Bega, New South Wales, which is famous for Bega.
Okay, yeah.
Yep. We went to high school together. My dad taught him how to play guitar when he was very young. And we actually ended up playing in bands together as well before we moved to Melbourne. But I broke that band up to move to Melbourne, and he followed a year later. So it was all good.
Where are you from?
Bega.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay. So just okay. So now.
Do we need to say that one again?
I
Yep.
had
okay.
a moment there.
I know it's weird. A lot of people don't believe me when I say that Bega is a real place.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
I know. Well,
cheese.
that's the
Yeah.
thing. I think I haven't
It is
heard
a
much
cheese,
about
but
it.
it's also a place.
Yeah. What came first, the cheese or the place? Hey. Okay, so you're like Andy yourself. You've obviously had music in your family. Your dad plays the guitar. So did you start out your music career with your spark of love of music from your dad?
Oh, 100%. Well and truly. My earliest memories of going along to my dad's heavy metal band jams. He played in a heavy metal band called Tyrant. It's really funny. He used to dress up in like leopard skin tights and like snake skin boots, and he had like the full like foofed out hair.
I love that.
So 80s.
It was great. So like my earliest memories are seeing that and going, oh my god, this is louder than anything I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
But obviously, it made quite an impression on me. And also, when I was learning how to play drums when I was 11 and 12, one of the first things that happened was my dad, he'd be writing music and he'd say, let's go have a jam. So, you know, I literally got to apply the things I was learning in my lessons in a musical situation almost immediately, which really helps.
And I've got a question for you guys this time around. So you describe your music to be rock, blues and soul. When you started out, you know, everyone gets together, you know, let's write some music. Were you going to go for that style, or has that been a thing that's accidentally happened over time? And what do you think and like about your style?
Accidental, first of all.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, when we first started, we were more definitely in the classic rock vein. So like more aligned with what inhibition is and what it sounds like. But we've moved away from that now, and it's becoming more almost experimental in a way, but sort of wrapped up in this like really accessible commercial sort of encasing, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah.
Basically, we're playing with stuff that is like musically quite in depth, like a lot of like academic music student stuff, but we're making it really, really palatable, which is really exciting for me because I love all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm very excited about where we're heading and what we're doing, and it always changes. The more we write together, the more we find our own unique sound, and the more it changes.
Yeah.
Exciting.
And how heavily influenced are you? I mean, I was reading up Led Zeppelin, Aretha Franklin, I guess are some of your influences as a band. Do they heavily influence your music and your sound?
Vocally, definitely.
Yeah.
Aretha Franklin and Michael Hutchence, they're my like dream people. Love them, and I literally aspire to be them.
Great.
But a nice mixture.
Yeah.
So I like the sexiness that Michael brings, but I like the rawness that Aretha has, and I want both of those elements in my voice.
Yeah.
So there's a few other, like, you know, there's Robert Plant as well. They're mostly men because they've got the like strong raspy voices, but I want that, but I want all the elements, not just one.
Yeah.
But with the other guys, I don't know. What about you?
Well, I can't speak for Matt. I can only speak for myself. But I'm not really sure what I draw from per se, because I like a really, really large range of music, so I can't just draw from one thing. But I like to think that everything that I do, I play, listen to, it all contributes as a whole, which is pretty cool. I don't know. I like to play what I would like to hear, if that makes sense. And that changes song to song and composition to composition.
Lovely. So earlier as well, we talked about, you know, the production of the music and how, you know, when we've started out writing the music and, you know, here we are now. When it comes to beginning to write a new song, where do you start? Because, you know, there's a few people out there that, you know, they're like, oh, I would like to have a go at writing a song. Where do they start? What advice would you give them? Like, and how do you do it personally? What are your secret tips?
Well, I think just play something and see where it goes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if it's a little riff, play it, muck around with it, and just do as much as you can with that before you let that idea go. So kind of just stick with it. I struggle with that. I'm like, nah, this is crap. I'm going to get rid of it, another thing, whatever. But I've learned over the years that the more that you put into something, the more likely it'll end up becoming something amazing. So that's my little input.
I like that. Yeah.
Also, I think you should find people that you really trust as well. And also people that won't yes man everything that you do. Because at the end of the day, not everything you play is going to be incredible and amazing in the idea. And it's really nice to have harsh constructive criticism sometimes, because it really forces you to look at the things that you create objectively. So I think finding that as well, finding a team of people that you trust and really love to bounce ideas off of is really helpful.
Yeah. And Carly, how important is it to have a female-led, as in a female-led vocalist in a band, considering how populated bands are with males? How important is that for the band and to you?
Well, I'm a woman and I'm a very proud front woman of our band, definitely. But and you know, I've been so lucky. I've had so many strong people raising me, both men and women, empowering me. So at the end of the day, I believe that if I'm good, people are going to hear me.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's as simple as that. And that's what I think everyone should believe. If you really work hard, then you're going to get the attention that you deserve and that you need, and that, you know, you just have to grasp it and really give it a go. So that's what I reckon.
I love that. So guys, now if I want to hear your music, where do I go to listen to this fantastic music? Where do I find you guys? I know you've got socials, and also where can we hear the music?
So you can stay updated on Facebook, just search Zenith Moon. You can also stay updated on Instagram too. They're the two main platforms that we use. If you want to find our music, you can find them anywhere you find music, whatever that may be for you. It's Spotify, Apple Music, whatever floats your boat.
Great.
Just search Zenith Moon.
And final question, what's coming up for the future, the near future?
So right now we're in the studio working very hard on our next batch of offerings, which are going to probably see the light of day in the next couple of months.
Yes.
Oh, very exciting. Nice exclusive. Well, thank you so much for joining us, particularly last minute.
Yeah.
And we really appreciate your time.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back after these clips with Clip of the Week. Stay tuned to 1700.